probably look about what an online space is and how they want to move online, there have been a lot of myths that keep floating in the market today about the online field. The most important thing is that credit card usage is not safe online. In fact, 2009 August has been a very eventful month when RBI introduced this dual authentication criteria for online payments. And since then, we have seen our business in our portfolio books also growing by more than about 60%, which indicates that there's a lot of consumer confidence. Added to that, with the BWA auction happening, there is going to be more and more internet which is going to come into India. And hence, online space is going to grow. To cover the first point, today I would rate online transactions to be much more secure than an offline transaction because they are now equipped with a dual authentication password as well. Similar, online shopping is unsafe. I mean, it's a very generic statement. Today, even an offline shopping is also unsafe if we don't try and figure out who's the merchant we are shopping at. So you will need to, we always do the customer feedback we take about the store where we want to shop, and we do a little review before we going in. So it's as good as any offline shopping as well. Now, the other myth that floats in the market is that only credit cards can be used online, which is not true. Today, a host of payment products can be used online. That includes your credit card, debit card, even a prepaid card can be used online. Most products are not available online. Maybe a couple of years back, yes, but not now, because everybody is coming online. There are people like shoemakers coming online, the people florists. There are somebody just gave us a request for selling arms and ammunition, guns and licensed pistols online. So everything else today is available online. E-commerce service quality is poor. Again, a very generic statement. There is this is a comment that I read and I thought it's important we put it here. In India, the thumb rule is that wherever money is paid in advance, it carries a risk of non-delivery. We have Percy who will talk a little later about this, but the fact still remains this is as good as an online or offline transaction. It depends on the business establishment, it depends on the site that you're working with, the branding, so everything, it's a function of a lot of things. So making a generic statement that e-commerce service quality is poor would not be proper, especially in this transition times when e-commerce is actually taking off. Touch and feel is not there, which is a very true statement, but the fact is e-commerce offer a lot more today than an offline. You have reviews, online reviews, customer feedbacks, ratings, so you actually get 360 degrees of the product. If you go to a Chroma store today, you want to see a mobile, there's a dummy kept there. It's not really a online, true mobile. But when you go online, you get everything about the product, about the customer feedback, everything that is. So that's the beauty of online. So these are the few myths which we wanted to try and put in there and given a feedback that all may not be really true. These could probably be changing now and have changed now over the last two years. Okay, now covering the other point which we covered a little while ago about this risks. Yes, there are online payments which were earlier risk, and thanks to our regulatory bodies which have brought in the dual authentication, but it still has certain amount of risk about data security, data storage, because there are cardholder details which are going online on the cloud. There is a security on transmission, so that still exists. Cardholder authentication, inherited risk. These are cards not present. The cardholders are transacting across the globe, across various timelines. So there is always goods which are being shown on the website necessarily need not be the goods that will be shipped. So these are the kind of risks which still exist, which is what we just discussed a little while ago about the merchant whom you are transacting with, about the standing of that merchant which you are transacting with, especially on the online space. Market practices, franchisee guidelines. There are Visa and Master which keep issuing guidelines in terms of how to do risk management for the banks. So there is also competition practice. There are people who are in the space of aggregation. So all these are kind of a risk which are associated. We're just trying to bring in some of the areas which could be potential risk, not to try and put in a point saying that online transactions risky. So in an industry, just to give some industry information about what risks carry, we have very, very few basis points. In fact, less than 0.10 or 0.10% basis 0.10 basis points or 10 basis points, less than 10 basis points of fraud that happens to the volumes in the country today. That's because we have very, very robust systems in the banking industry today. Account use is the largest contributor of acquiring fraud in the country. That is, you lost your password or somebody else has used your password and he or she has tried to use the card online and do the transaction. Business volumes have doubled over the last 2 years. Even the RBI data indicates last year was a slight slowdown on the card payment side, but again this year has been pretty good. So hopefully with the dual authentication, the risk and fraud also will be minimized. So what are the solutions that we offer at HDFC Bank to mitigate these risks? We have a very, very thorough merchant onboard review before we take them on board. We have a review and recommendation. We follow very, very strictly all the guidelines which are given by both the regulator as well as the franchisee, which gives the best practices across the globe. We have networking with other banks just to share the information across various banks as well. From a system level, we've an award-winning proactive risk management solutions which actually detects, which actually has some analytical tools to detect which are the fraud, which could potential fraud transaction and then try and give an alarm to the merchant. Transaction and velocity monitoring is another important thing which we do. Now this is about more technical part of it. Now we're going to come about what is that HDFC Bank is bringing real value to the merchants who are present. Now we have a very rare distinction about only a few banks carry in this country is to have a very large credit and debit card base as well as a very large merchant base. And I'm glad to introduce today a concept of Smart Buy which we've done this in the country, which is to bring in an online e-marketplace for our customers. So we drive all our credit and debit card customers into this online marketplace and we give our merchants a platform to get their products online displayed and hence creating a green channel between our customers and the merchants. So the Smart Buy helps the merchants to showcase the products, reach millions of consumers of HDFC Bank, influence them with offers. It's not just listing, as I mentioned, it's about a marketplace and obviously it gives you a lot of footfalls in terms of increasing sales. So it is a most unique and one of this kind initiative in the bank in the country today, which is HDFC Bank partner with the merchants, and we're also building this platform along with the MartJack, who's one of our partners today in the Etail conference, and opportunity to reach 14 million strong credit and debit card customers in the country. A full-fledged online store, so a merchant need not work on an online store. That's what our partner MartJack will get it done for the customer to create that particular microsite to come onto this marketplace. And it's a great opportunity to try and sell your products, because somebody who wants to come online, who doesn't have a ready-made market, here's Smart Buy offers them a ready-made green channel where traffic automatically gets driven. So customer gets to get to see what are the best products that are available online. He gets to choose which merchants to buy it from, and then hence buy it online, because we are the ones who are doing the migration of customers onto this Smart Buy platform. Benefits we just spoke about: increase your customer reach. HDFC Bank will promote Smart Buy, so the merchants save the entire cost of marketing this. A dedicated online store of their own, which is coming through MartJack, and you keep adding your products, whatever you think is going to be consumer related or consumer relevant, and the offer which is relevant to the customer, and then market it through Smart Buy. That's briefly what I wanted to cover from HDFC Bank in terms of how we're trying to do a little bit on getting people online and helping in this entire ecosystem. I will then leave this mic to Jitendra to take over for the next stage. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you.